How many people thought that the Underground Railroad was truly a railroad? This topic should be important to you because the Underground Railroad was an essential part of the U.S. history that we all share, no matter what our race. The Underground Railroad was a slave-freeing network that took extreme courage and determination. To better understand the Underground Railroad, let's look at its structures, the important people that were involved in the Underground Railroad, along with the risks and the advantages that it brought to so many. The Historican, the article, The Underground Railroad, the timeline of 2023 stated that the Underground Railroad started in the 18th to the 19th century, and that it was a network of routes and safe houses used by enslaved looking for freedom. Sprout stated in The True Story of the Underground Railroad of Triumph and Trauma of 2021 that there were pilots. These were not your average pilots. The pilots back in the Underground Railroad were people that went down to the South looking for people that were seeking freedom. In the Underground Railroad of 2009, it states that they had conductors. These conductors were people that took the enslaved people from one safe place to the next. In the Underground Railroad 2025, it states that there were stations. These were places that the enslaved people took for seeking shelter. There were also station masters. The station masters were the people that hid the enslaved in the stations. Underground Railroad 2025 states that the enslaved people were finally called passengers. When the enslaved people made it to their safe place, they were called cargo. Mark 2025 in the article The Underground Railroad states that there were also stockholders. Now, the stockholders were not people that were physically involved with the Underground Railroad, but they were financially involved. Next, let's take a look at the important people who helped with the Underground Railroad. First, there was Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was an enslaved herself. During one of her encounters, her and her brother decided they were going to leave their plantation, and they did, and they made it safely. But her brother soon became scared and wanted to return. But Harriet Tubman returned with them, seeking to find more of her family members that might want to join her on the seek of freedom. She then left multiple times and came back one last time to see if her husband was still there and if he wanted to join her. But when she went back, she had found out that her husband had remarried. And so this made her very sad because her husband did not want to leave with her. So Harriet Tubman decided that she was going to join as a conductor. According to the Harriet Tubman Visionary Hero of 2009, it states that the Underground people called Harriet Tubman the Moses of the Underground Railroad. Also, there was Frederick Douglass, and it states in the Underground Railroad of 2009 that he was an enslaved himself, and that he had hid many fugitives in his New York home, and that he helped over 400 enslaved people escape. According to the Underground Railroad of 2009, there was also William Still. William Still was a writer, and during the Underground Railroad, he kept record of all the things that had happened on the Underground Railroad. And after the Civil War, he decided that he was going to have it published. And so he did. And that way it would give the Underground Railroad a better look and to see what actually happened on the Underground Railroad. Finally, let's look at the different risks and the rewards that it brought to so many. According to the Stories of Slaves of 2025 on the YouTube podcast channel, it states that the Underground Railroad enslaved people had to travel at night. This way, it would cause lower chances of them being caught by the slave catchers or the people that were going to tell them, such as informants. During the day, they had to hide, and during their hiding period, they ate and caught up on sleep in order to gain their strength for them to be able to travel during their nighttime travels. They had to travel long distances on rough terrains and rough weather. They also encountered physical and mental strain. The mental strain was constantly watching over their shoulder to make sure that no one was going to catch them or no informants were going to tell where they were headed to next. They also endured physical strength. This was due to the rough terrain, the rough weather, and the countless numbers of food that they could not find. The best reward of all was that they finally gained their freedom. In conclusion, the Underground Railroad was a slave-freeing network that took extreme courage and determination. And now that you better understand the Underground Railroad after looking at its structures, the important people that were part of the Underground Railroad, and the rewards and the risks that it brought to so many, the Underground Railroad may not be something that we constantly think about, but it definitely was an important part of the U.S. history and how it brought freedom to so many.
Yay!